You are now watching M.O.D. Entertainment. Make sure you subscribe and check out the playlist.
I grew up hearing gunshots in the late night. Ghetto bird, police sirens as a mother cries. Just another victim of the Soundbrown genocide. Locals posted, locked and loaded, ready to take lives. And when they heard the chieflet, they would duck up out of sight. Like your car when the sun down, it was mission time. You had to stay alert, cause bullets always travel blind. We stayed posted, we stayed drinking, and we getting high. Marchando down the enemy's neighborhood as we ride. Put the hood, put the glica sample, fuck their side. No regrets, but the truth is no peace of mind.
G-File.
Alright, now starting off right here in the west of LA, where the Four Corners is at. You know, I'm going to be covering the remaining neighborhoods right here in the Four Corners. And starting off right here, we have next to Santa Monica, Culver City, Venice, and Sotel, we have the next biggest neighborhood right here in this area. The next neighborhood that you definitely hear about, that's definitely with the business. These guys ain't no chumps, ain't no pushovers. These guys definitely be putting their barrio up on the map. You feel me? And that's how they carry themselves. You have the barrio Westside Locos. Now, the barrio Westside Locos is located right here in West LA, located in Helm Avenue is where their barrio is located. You feel me? And they with the business, homie. You know what I mean? Westside Locos ain't no chumps, ain't no pushovers. These guys get it on and cracking. You feel me? You can find them located like towards National Boulevard and Washington Boulevard. So everything between National Boulevard and Washington Boulevard was considered their neighborhood. It's a pretty big chunk of neighborhood. You know what I mean? I'm talking from Robert Avenue to Reed to McManus. I think that's what it's called. Fay. Jacob Street, all of that, you know what I mean? Almost heading already towards the park as well, you know what I'm saying? That is what's considered the Westside Locos neighborhood. But Helm Street is their main dojo, the main spot, you feel me? That's their home base, pues. And this neighborhood is definitely with the business, homie. Like I said, they've been around already since the 70s, you feel me? The late 70s, early 80s is when this neighborhood was established. And like I said, Westside Locos is a neighborhood that's spread out through different locations. You have them in Orange County, Simi Valley, Glendale, and what I was told is that they're all the same thing. So we're talking about, as a whole, Westside Locos is a large neighborhood, you feel me? And in each individual spots, some spots are larger than others, but this is original home base, where they originated from, the birthplace for them. This is also the neighborhood in which Weddle Snipes and Spanky Loco, this is the neighborhood in which they come from, the 310 West. This is the neighborhood, that they're from. You know what I mean? So go check out their music. They get down, you know what I mean? You won't be disappointed. I know my music, so I know what I'm talking about. They get down. And this barrio is definitely, be holding it down right there. You feel me? Be putting it on the map for that, that Westside Locos gang right there, going at it with the surrounding neighborhoods and, keeping their barrio alive and putting it down. Shout out to, the homie Woody. That homie's always showing love, so much respect to Woody. Shout out to Weddle, Snipes, you know what I mean? Shout out to all the homies from Westside Locos that I have, from Snorlax to Sparky, to Shadow, to Temper. Shout out to, the homie Disaster. Shout out to Swifty. Shout out to all the homies that I have. Darky. Shout out to Darky. This man said Darky. I almost left you off. Shout out to all the homies from Westside Locos that I have right there that be holding it down and putting their barrio up on the map. You feel me? Now, another barrio that you have right here in the west of LA is the barrio DIM. Now, the barrio DIM stands for Down Insane Malditos. Down Insane Malditos is a neighborhood that used to be a tag banging crew. This was a tag banging crew in the 90s that became a neighborhood in the 2000s. Roughly a small neighborhood. They're located obviously right there in the west of LA, in the midst of a bunch of neighborhoods. You feel me? Because in that area there's a lot of neighborhoods. You know what I mean? Not only in Hispanics but in Crip sets as well. You feel me? So it's a very heavily gang populated area. You feel me? But the heart of their hood is right there on Cadillac. that's the heart of their hood, you know, on that street. You know, that's their dojo, their domain, you know what I mean? Through those back ends, through those back alleys is where they hang out, where they do their thing. You feel me? Really close to like CFL, PAL, Westside Locos, 18th Street, you know, neighborhoods like that. And like I said, this is roughly a small neighborhood, but nonetheless, you know, they be doing their thing. They got their homies that be active, be putting it down. Like I said, they were a tag banging crew in the 90s that became a neighborhood roughly in the 2000s. But yeah, homie, they got their riders right there. They be doing their thing, even though they may not be as small as, even though they may not be as large and as old school as some of these other neighborhoods. You know, you still hear about them. You still see them up. You do see the activity by these guys because you do see the graffiti. You feel me? But yeah, that's what's up with the Delhi Insane Malditos right there, holding it down for their side and putting their barrio up on the map right there. Another neighborhood that you have right here in the west of LA, located right here also in the danger zone where all the neighborhoods are jam-packed, is the Westside CFL neighborhood. Now, CFL is located almost right there by Rainier Park. So like Rainier, almost by like 24th, 25th Street. You know what I mean? Through those back ends by Bradford. Close to almost Helm. You know what I mean? Is where you find the... also close to the DIM's neighborhood, Cadillac. You know, that's the reason why all these neighborhoods, you know, tend to have beef with each other. Their neighborhoods are so close together, you feel me? Now, CFL used to be is another one that used to be a tag banging crew that became a neighborhood. They were a tag banging crew roughly around the 90s as well. Became a neighborhood in the 2000s. Now, CFL stands for Crazy Fucking Life. You know what I mean? That's what this neighborhood stands for. Roughly a really small neighborhood. Now this one's probably the smallest one out of all the neighborhoods over here, I would say. You feel me? I was roughly told that they're about roughly to less than 60 heads. So roughly a small neighborhood. You know, this one is like I said, one of the smallest neighborhoods in this region. You feel me? But nonetheless, homie. You know, they be doing their thing. You do actually see the graffiti, and you do hear about the activity by these guys. You know what I mean? So they be causing a ruckus right there. Definitely representing for their barrio and putting that on the map. You feel me? Now, another neighborhood that you have in this area of West LA, but this is already in the borderline of LA and Inglewood. So from what's leaving West LA, transitioning into Inglewood. So through those back ends is where you'll find the EWF neighborhood. Now, EWF used to be a tag banging crew roughly around the late 80s, early 90s. This was a large tag banging crew, that was with the business. You definitely hear about. They became a neighborhood roughly in the mid 90s. And this tag bang crew, hey, this one ain't no joke, homie. These vatos definitely be, you know, I know a few heads from this barrio right here. These guys are definitely with the business, homie. You know what I mean? They get it on and cracking. You have the EWF, which stands for Evil Way Familia. Now, Evil Way Familia is one of these neighborhoods that definitely be putting it down. You know what I mean? You do hear the activity by these guys. You know what I mean? Don't ever get it twisted just because they were tag banging crew, you know, that they some weak sauce or anything like that. You feel me? These barrios will definitely get it cracking, and this neighborhood is, you know, it's pretty large. You know what I mean? I was told that they're roughly up to more than 100 and something heads, so that's already, you know, I mean, it's kind of smallish, but for it being a tag banging crew, was a tag banging crew and doesn't even have that long, that's a large size. You know what I mean? And so they with the business. You hear about them. They definitely be holding it down right there, you know, representing for theirs, and putting their barrio on the map. You know, shout out to the homie Flaco from EWF. Actually, free the homie Flaco from EWF. And shout out to all the homies from EWF right there that be representing for their barrio, holding it down and putting their set on the map. You feel me? But that's what's up with the EWF right there, holding it down for the Evil Way Familia. Another one that you have over here located in this area is the PAL neighborhood. Now, PAL is a neighborhood that you find scattered throughout the west of LA over here, also close to where DIM, CFL, Westside Locos, and all these neighborhoods are at. You feel me? Now, PAL stands for Psycho Ass Life. It's one of these sets that used to be a tag bang crew, also as well as CFL and DIM. You feel me? It was a large tag banging crew. It was when a few of these crews were transitioning into neighborhoods. When the door was open for these crews to become neighborhoods. They're one of the ones that's also stepped up to the plate. Now, PAL Psycho Ass Life is a roughly decent sized neighborhood. I was, you know what I mean? Because they were a pretty large tag banging crew, so they have members, you know what I mean? So they be holding it down right there in the midst of all the chaos, representing it and putting their barrios on the map right there, holding it down for theirs. Another neighborhood that you have over here in the west of LA is the barrio Invasion, or also known as Insane Barrio Criminals. You can see it up either way, you know what I mean? You see it up either IVS or IVCS. You feel me? That's Invasion Criminals or Insane Barrio Criminals or Invasion. Invasion started off as a party crew before in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. So it's a pretty old school party crew that then transitioned to a tag bang crew that then transitioned to a neighborhood. You know what I mean? They came a long way. They do have members. They're spread out throughout Los Angeles too, San Fernando Valley. They have different locations, you know what I mean? This is a large neighborhood as a whole, you feel me? In each individual spot, they may not be as large, but as a whole, they are large. This is their birthplace. Right here by Santa Monica is the birthplace of the Invasion. You feel me? This is where they started, and this is where you still see their activity and them holding it down for their neighborhood and definitely putting it on the map. These guys ain't no chumps, ain't no pushover. Just because they started off as a party crew doesn't mean anything. They do have their riders, their reputation precedes them, and they hold it down. I met a few homies out of right here. I met the homie Stumpy, Firme Camarada right there, you know what I mean? And yeah, you know what I mean? Burros too, that's the homie. Yeah, they do have a lot of riders, you know what I mean? And they do hold it down, and they be putting it down right there for the Invasion, and you know what I mean? Alright, also right here in the west of LA, you have the Barrio Posers. And no, I'm not insulting them. Barrio Posers, that is the name of their barrio. I frankly don't know why they gave themselves the name Posers. But it is a well-established neighborhood right here on the west side. You know what I mean? You see it up P13 or you see it up PRZ. You know what I mean? That's how they write their neighborhood. That's that Posers gang. They're roughly a small neighborhood that's located right there in the west of LA by Ramgate Avenue and Morley. So through those back ends is what's considered their neighborhood. You can also find them by the park that you see right here in the picture. And this neighborhood, like I said, is roughly a small neighborhood. It's been around since the 80s. You roughly don't see them up or hear about them as much, but they are a real neighborhood. They are with the business. They do have their members that be putting in work right there, because you see the activity, you see the graffiti by these guys. You see all the crossing out going on right here. This neighborhood, be representing right there, you feel me? And I was told that it roughly was always a neighborhood. That's how they started off. Like I said, they're just a smaller neighborhood, so you roughly don't see them or hear about them as much. But nonetheless, they be right there representing and doing their thing. And also right here in the west of LA, you have the Westside 18th Street. It's also over here located by where, over here where all the neighborhoods are at. By Westside Locos, by CFL, BI, all of those neighborhoods. You know what I mean? They're located almost by Redondo and West Haven. So through those back ends is where you can find the Westside 18th Street gang. You know what I mean? Like I said, 18th Street, I already covered them right here. Old school neighborhood, you know what I mean? Spread out throughout Los Angeles, throughout the West. West Adam, Westlake. Throughout all over the place, you feel me? And yeah, they be right here in the midst of battle, going at it with all the surrounding neighborhoods around here, you feel me? Seems like they really don't have any allies over here. That's just the way it is. You feel me? Yeah, but they're pretty large over here. You know what I mean? They have several cliques on this side, about like 3 or 4 different cliques. But yeah, like I said, it's a lot older and larger as a whole, and in each individual spot. And this place makes no difference, you know what I mean? But that's what's up with the Westside 18th Street right here on this side, by the Four Corners.